Well, it is a cold day here today. I actually have the day off from work because it's just too dangerous to be driving out there with a propane truck on these icy roads. But yeah, in my last video I said I was going to take these wheels off, but I just can't bring myself to taking them off and putting those skinny tires back on. I really like the look of these, so I left them on, and you can see this fender, or this quarter panel here, has been previously cut before. It's definitely nothing fancy, no beautiful rust-free quarter panel, and you can see there's like 1/4 inch of Bondo in it. So I'm going to see, at some point I'm going to see where it hits. It might be hitting a very small area, and I might just have to be able to trim it out a little bit, because you can see that's not even round right there. So if it's hitting right here, I might be able to trim that out a little bit. It's not going to hurt my feelings too much, because you know it's all bondoed up anyway. So it's probably the worst part of the car back here. It's really not too bad otherwise, but it is a rat rod, so that's the fun of it. But you know, I don't want to cut it so much that it makes it look weird, you know. But I'll probably put a tape line around it and see. You can see it's not even round to begin with, but maybe I can get it even looking better and put a tape line around it and cut it, trim it up so the tire clears. But it just looks way too good to screw up that look, you know. So I'm probably gonna paint this wheel black, 2 front wheels for now, until I can find something cool to put on the front. But it's gonna be hard to find something in that bolt pattern. It's a 71 Buick Riviera rotors in the front, Riviera, however you want to say it. So it's like a 5-on-5, but I think it should be the same as a Chevy 5-on-5. But it's hard to find. It's hard to find wheels in that bolt pattern, especially these slots. I could find some slots like this and have them drilled out, but I don't know. I kind of like this look too, with the steels in the front and the fat tires in the back. So in the last video I left off trying to figure out these headlights, why they won't work. I just recently picked up a headlight switch here. I'm hoping that's going to be the solution, but I'm not really sure. We'll see, because what made me think it might be this is when I turn the headlights on, like the 4-way indicators come on the dash, so I feel like there might be some kind of short going on. So I get this weird thing, and I'm glad I watched a video on replacing one of these before I dug into it, because you can see there's a little button right here that you push, and then you can pull out the actual knob. I would have fought that forever trying to figure that out. You can't see that when it's up in the truck, so I'll get this swapped out and see if that fixes the problem. That'd be great if it did. That's the big thing holding me back from actually driving it, is that I did repair the vacuum lines, vacuum advance. I got that all fixed. That was probably a huge vacuum leak. It was just disconnected. It was just, I think the rats chewed it or something. It was just cut right there. And then this line over here, well, where is it? Right there, where I put that little plug, that was opened right there. That was just opened right up. It wasn't plugged or anything, so I'm hoping it'll run a little better now. I'm probably gonna have to do some tuning, but it's probably gonna run a lot better. Well, I got the new switch in. That was kind of a pain, but I got it. Still, same thing. It shows, you know, the indicator lights come on, no headlights. Everything else works though. I mean, the inside light comes on, the dash lights come on. But no headlights. I even tested these fusible links here. or whatever, fuse links, whatever you want to call them, and they're good. I tested for power, passed them, and they both have power. So I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna have to dig into some more research here. Well, now I'm gonna replace these battery cables. I got this one out. This is where it's been melting on the exhaust, so that's not good. Hopefully the ones I got are long enough. I know this will be long enough. I'm not sure about that one. Alright, I got the battery cables all done. New ground wire, and cleaned up all the surfaces and stuff, and ran my wire as far away as possible from the exhaust, and wrapped some electrical tape around it to kind of keep it from rubbing and getting damaged on the frame. Zip tied it up real good so it doesn't have any play in it. That should be a lot better. Alright, I finally figured out the headlights. So I found this wire down here. You can't really see it, but there's a little black wire that was sticking out. And I was like, I bet you that's a ground, and I bet you that's important. So I ran a red wire, this wire all the way over to the battery, just to test it, the negative side of the battery, and sure enough, high and low beams work. So that's the problem. I'm gonna run a nice ground off of that and ground it. Probably. Oh, look at that. I bet you that's where it was. Right on that. Ah, I didn't even notice that. Okay. Well, I'll clean this up, and I'll just put a new wire to that. That should fix it. Alright, so this side works. This side was super dim. So I had to take some things apart here. I got all my different lights here, and I figured out what the problem is. I guess this right here is a ground wire, and it runs to this, and then there's a wire that's broken coming off of this. It's supposed to be grounded here, I'm assuming. So I just got to run a ground from that up to here, and it should make both the headlights nice and bright, because that's what's going on this side. Thankfully I had this side to go off of. Well, I could always dive into the internet, but this is grounding to the same terminal here, and then that wire, the other wire, runs to the running lights down there. So I think I got it all figured out finally. Alright, check it out. I have headlights now. These lights are working. I need to aim them, obviously. That one's a little lower. But look at over here, we got no turn signal indicators coming on, so that's good. See if our high beams work. I don't know if there's a high beam indicator on these trucks or not. But yeah, high beams work. Awesome. I even ran a new line for my washer fluid reservoir that was all chewed up by the mice. And I fixed my my wire for the brake light. Let's see if that works when I turn the key. I don't really have high hopes for that, but we'll try it. Nope. That's alright, we don't need that anyway. That's the start though. We got headlights. I gotta figure out what's going on with the tail lights. I thought I fixed them, but one brake light works, which is weird because the wiring should be all good, because like the turn signals come on. I don't really know what's going on here. Let's check it out. So we got turn signal. On that side, and then when we turn our headlights on, we got that part of the filament, you know, working as well. It's not blown. But the weird thing is, so here's the weird part. When I hit my brakes, only one comes on. So that's weird. Probably another ground issue. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to run a ground from that hole right there on the bed to the frame right here. And maybe that'll fix my problem. I've had that work before. On my 72, I ran some ground straps from the bed to the frame and it fixed some of my lighting issues, but it doesn't hurt to have it anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and do that and go from there, I guess. The wiring looks really good. It's pretty untouched under here, other than this. This is just the plug for the camper that's right in the side there. This is just, you know, hacked off, but we don't need that anyway. So usually I like to run red for positive and black for ground, but I'm just using what I got here. You know, I got whatever this is, 12 gauge, you know, 16 gauge, and then I got 10 gauge, and it's all in red, so I'm just gonna snip off some of this and use that for my ground. Alright, there it is. Get those surfaces cleaned up, stick this on, see what happens. Well, well, well. Like I was saying, yep, fixed. I wonder if the backup lights work. Probably not. I don't know. I'm assuming you probably have to have the key on for that. Oh, wow. Wow. I am really surprised that those work. So now that I have all the lights working, it's time to move on to some tune-up stuff. Got some spark plug wires, spark plugs, oil filter. Got some gear oil to change transmission oil out. Couldn't find the GL4 stuff. You're supposed to use GL4 in these SM465s. GL5 not as good. It could eat at the synchros a little bit, but you know, that's all I can find. It's really hard to find GL4 anymore, so it'll be better than whatever's in there, that's for sure. And then I got oil, using this 1540 diesel oil. It's got zinc in it. So, not going to change the oil yet until it's warm, and I don't want it to be warm when I'm changing the spark plugs and stuff, so I'm going to do the spark plugs first and the wires and get it running and change the oil, and I might take it down the road so I can get that transmission oil a little hot, warmer, and get that draining out. So I got all the plugs changed out, and they really don't look too bad. They're just normal wear, a little bit rich. Now I'm putting the plug wires on. These ones have been chewed on by mice and stuff. See that one there? And there's some pretty deep gouges in the wires, so this should make it run a little better. The new plugs and new wires, and go from there. It's got one of those giant, I guess it's, I don't know if you call that an HEI distributor. It's, you know, it's factory on these 84 model trucks. I guess it's HEI. Doesn't have points. Eventually I'll probably get a cap and rotor for that. I need to do exhaust manifold gaskets so you can see they're kind of leaking a little bit. Alright, I got the plug wires done. Tried to zip tie them up so they're not touching on anything. I figured out probably why the idle is so inconsistent and stuff, and why it runs kind of weird. This is probably a big reason. There's so much play in this throttle shaft. It's just wore out. But I'm probably gonna eventually get rid of that and put a Holly or an Edelbrock on it, just because they're easier to mess around with. But it runs fine for now. Good enough to drive the truck around and see how it, you know, see what else needs to be done. Getting some air in this old tire right now. I need to replace these tires, but they're not horrible. They're good enough to drive on. I wouldn't drive highway speeds on them, but you know, they just got some dry rot. I was digging around in my stash. I found an oil pressure gauge. Don't know if it works. I think that's actually off of maybe off the Cadillac, the 68 Cadillac that I had. I wish I still had, but you can't keep everything. I think that came off of that car, and if I remember correctly, it still works. I took it off because I put matching set of digital gauges on it, a digital readout instead of analog, but that was a mistake. Analog is the way to go. A lot less issues. And I found this unopened copper line, so that's cool. I don't know why I bought this. I don't know what project it came from, but I have it, so I'm gonna use it on this truck. This is what you want to use, not that plastic crap that comes with the gauges. I've had those plastic ones melt and stuff, and that's no fun, especially if you're, you know, an hour from home or something. You gotta zip tie it up and jerry rig it so it doesn't leak out. But anyway, I got a whole bunch of fittings here. I should be able to make something work. One thing I don't have is the bracket, so I might have to just rig it up, you know, zip tie it up under the dash for now. It would be good to know what the oil pressure is on this engine. That's something I don't know right now, so we'll see. Alright, I got that rigged up. Just a zip tie around the column. That'll work for now. See, it's idling. Don't know the RPM, probably around 700 RPM. So, but anyway, I got good oil pressure, so that's good. I'm gonna take this thing for a spin and see how it does. Alright guys, I made it to this flea market place here. I think if I remember correctly, they had a square body tailgate in there. I'm gonna take a look at it and see what the price is on it. Anyway, the truck's doing okay, but it's making a really bad knocking sound. But I don't think it's the engine, because it's got good oil pressure. It really sounds like it's coming from the clutch area. Maybe it's a loose flywheel or something, but I'm going to be tearing that stuff apart soon anyway, so I guess we'll see what it is. Alright, well, I made it back. I probably drove about 40 miles today, and well, first I'm going to say that flea market I stopped at, they didn't have the tailgate anymore, but that's alright. It was probably overpriced anyway. Secondly, I ran the numbers on the block just a few hours ago, and this is actually a 1972 Impala 400, so it's not a 350, it's a 400, which means it's not the original engine, obviously, which also means it's externally balanced, which means it probably has the wrong flywheel on it, because these engines, you know, in 1970, whatever it was, I guess it's 70 to 72 the engine would be from, they didn't come with a manual transmission in those years, so it's hard to find the right flywheel for it, which would describe, you know, which would make sense with the way the engine kind of shakes a little bit. So, secondly, or thirdly, whatever number I'm on, I think this engine's knocking a little bit, which I hate to say it, but it's got to be said. That's the only thing I can think of it being. It's only when it's under load, when you're going up a hill, when you're accelerating, it's a knock. It's got to be a knock, rod knock. It doesn't sound good. So I'll probably be pulling the pan off of this, unfortunately, and seeing if we got, seeing how the rod bearings look, and if those are fine, then maybe it's something else. But I'm gonna look into it. Hopefully the engine's okay, and if not, well, I'll probably find a 350 to swap it out with, But anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and continue to follow along as I get this truck all fixed up. I really do like driving it, though. It's fun to drive. It's really comfortable. It really is a good truck. It's solid. Even if the engine's bad, I got a good deal on it, so I'm not worried about it. I can find another 350. It's hard to find square bodies in decent shape. So anyway, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Stay tuned.